when asked if he believed in miracles, the famous theologian Karl Rahner said, "No, I don't believe in miracles. I count on them to get me through every day of my life." And those words came at an important part of my life, and I was listening to that and heard, I think ultimately, what was Jesus' invitation to look a bit more deeply into my daily life for the miracles that sometimes I was longing to see. Perhaps we could begin to think of some of those miracles that get us through every day of our lives and see that in a little bit of a contrast to some of the fantastic experiences that sometimes we think we might need in our lives. Not to say that they can't happen. We certainly hear of a pretty profound vision that St. Peter had in the Acts of the Apostles, and also the one Gentile who seems to have been visited by an angel even before he was baptized. Pretty impressive. And I'm trusting that things like that continue to happen, and when they need to happen, I guess, for those specific individuals. But I'd like to suggest that we have evidence already of the miracles as God desires to share them with us, and as we would reflect and think about that, we might then be able to step forward more confidently to say, yeah, that's true. That's an awful lot happens to sustain me every moment of my life. That is indeed miraculous, and I sense also one of the ways that Jesus communicates to us that we just need to listen to his voice in the way that he's speaking to us, not in a way that we want necessarily or think might be more meaningful, but the way that he is already. He's calling to us, and sometimes maybe it takes a while for us to recognize his voice, but once we know it, once we've heard it, it's then an invitation for us to move forward in confidence and in hope. That's our year this year. And to see, okay, if there's anything that maybe I missed, help me, Lord, to see that. And how might this invite me forward now to become part of the process of Jesus speaking to other people? For it took an awful lot of study for Karl Rahner, the great theologian, to get there, and a lot of dedication, a lot of time, and a lot of prayer. And I think of people like that, what if he didn't follow that path or turned around and didn't try to be faithful to Jesus? Would I have ever heard the statement that he made about miracles, and would that have affected my life? Perhaps we can think about that in the lives of the saints as well, how they persevered through the challenges and somehow found a way to touch our lives. Thinking about even St. Anthony. What if he didn't hear or wouldn't listen? He did. And obviously that's had an impact upon our lives. And so not to put the pressure on us, but just to see the importance of us living as best we can and as faithfully as we can, Jesus' calling, his invitation to us, and the fact that the consequences of that can be transformational for other people. Maybe even if it's just a simple smile or an offer of how's your day to someone who may be feeling somewhat lonely that day. These things are simple, not very profound like the vision, but can have an impact, and miraculously so. I can tell you from my own experiences. So maybe we are potentially part of a miracle that will help another person trust in Jesus in a way that would turn their life around because we listen to them or were willing to sit and be present even though we couldn't solve their problems. That's been profoundly effective in my own life. So let's see if we could not only believe in miracles, but perhaps be part of them. And that's what I sense fidelity to Jesus is all about, in helping us to recognize the ones that are working in our own lives, even if it's just the air through my lungs or the blood through my veins. Or is it some way that I could be that sign of hope for another in a way that made all the difference? I pray that that might be the case. So let's ask God, help us today to be the miracles in the lives of those we encounter, those who are faithful to Jesus as best we can in a way that we hope will communicate his message of love, come what may, cost what it may.